Start with practice times and how long, and once in a while you miss not a huge number, but a guy or two because of a test. So, but we just practiced 3 days this week. Then we came off of the break with some fundamental work with young guys the first week on the weekend, tied it into the recruiting. Last week we kind of got the old guys back going. We really didn't start game planning until this week, and with exams we've not tried to overdo it. Our thought is we're going to practice this weekend, Saturday, Sunday. Saturday would be 7 days out, like game day. It'd be like, be like you're playing a game, and then the routine of the next week. But we'd like to do a little bit more here Saturday, Sunday, just because of travel. I don't know how productive Monday and Tuesday will be in transitioning and hotels and all that stuff. So we're trying to get a lot of the work done, and then we'll try to polish last week. Health-wise, we're gaining on it. Like I say, Jordan, for example, is running around today, did some plays in team. It's a long way between now and game time. So I guess, I'm not trying to stir up like he's in or out, but he's, I've seen him look slightly less than a day and still play well. But again, between now and game time, he's been nicked up a couple times, so that could always be a glitch as you're going through something. But he's progressing nicely. The tight ends, Michael Cooper and Casaro, had little minor things down the stretch. They're back in good accord. The O-line's pretty good. Defensively, getting those guys cleaned up. Andre Brown is back practicing. So we got more numbers than we had the last couple of weeks. And guys like Dutra, Jamil Cook, a couple of those guys that had surgery injuries, of course, they're out. So that's kind of where we're at with practice and team. We got exams. How about this? The biggest exam is Friday night from 5 to 7. So exam week, and they got a big one Friday night at 5. But they'll wrap it up. And like I say, then we'll have a good Saturday, Sunday, and we'll travel up there Monday. And looking forward to a great trip. I think practice has been well. Go to Fordham, and our thought is on when we get there, our operations people have seen it. I hear it's a good site in turf field, and there's a chance of some rain. The weather's looking reasonably mild, but a chance of rain. And I think they've got some indoor places that aren't necessarily a true indoor setup like Mellencamp or most colleges have like a full field, but they've got indoor. But because the chance the game could be played outside, we went outside the other day in the rain just to practice on the grass in rain and with wet balls. So we're going to play on the grass field. Their field is turf, but I think we're using their facility, and we'll get a lot of good work on some light things as we transition Tuesday, good work Wednesday, polish up Thursday, and get ready for the game.
How's the sharpness of your team? You haven't played in a couple weeks now.
We've talked. It's a good question because to me, you always see how when there's layoffs, it's almost like you're back to game one. Coaches always talk about you improve from game 1 to 2 because even though you talk about penalties or ball securities or negative plays or kicking glitches, until you really see it in game and it magnifies the value of those errors and you get them corrected. So I mean we've tried hard not just to run plays, but we were just doing some clock management plays, and you don't have timeouts and not getting tackled inbounds or trying to tackle them inbounds, or we've done a fair amount of kicking. With different situations between backed up punting and fielding onside kicks and all kinds of different things. So we've tried this. We've practiced, work some game stuff, and I would say for a couple of years we've been a pretty solid practice team, and I've been impressed with the way these kids are approaching practice. I think they like our scheduling, the way we've done it. We've put a lot of thought into how we wanted to practice. We've communicated to the team. We've gotten their feedback. So we're kind of getting what we need, collectively working together. And like I say, there's a lot of situations, and I like the way we're approaching the meeting room and the practice. I think they're doing pretty good.
Based on what you said about Jordan, if they were Friday before the game, do you feel like you could play? At this point, you say there may be glitches between now and game time, just a little bit, but they were Friday.
Yeah, the only thing is we haven't structured it that way, so there'd be some other things we'd be through. But from a health standpoint, conditioning standpoint, hitting, physicality, practice, good vibe. Again, I like we haven't targeted to play, but we're definitely better than we were as we finished the season from a health and I think the confidence and the way we're going. We're going to play a good team. The team we're playing is going to be really good. They lost a very good player. And everybody make it, well, we lost a pretty good running back, and we had to go play, and we kept playing. And, good teams do that, and this is a good team. So it's unfortunate that they had an All-American great play loss, but man, they've won 32 bowl games or 32 ball games, and which is the most of a senior-oriented run, 4 bowls in a row. So even though they've lost a guy, they'll step up. And like I said, I like where we're at. We'll keep stepping up. So I think we're ready to play, but we didn't target to play tomorrow. But I like.
I mean, Jordan Howard in particular, he said that, with his progression, you like where he's at, but given that, we're not in a game week, things could happen between now and then. He might have a setback order, but right now, you feel like he's pretty good to go if this was a game week to play.
Again, we didn't target it, so you can write it and say he's good or not. Trust my words, Like I said something today, it wasn't a bad day. I said, like I said, Duke was comparable to Michigan State, but their receivers weren't quite well. Michigan State's receivers, I think, are a couple of Americans. It wasn't slighting their receiver. I think their offense is awesome, but it came out. So don't act like I don't think Duke's got good receivers. I just think Michigan State's got a couple of elite dudes with those guys. And now Coach Cutler's going to have airs, balls up, and Scotty Montgomery's going to be airing that thing out and coming at us. So, I think they got a really good offense. So if you want me to say Jordan can play, he looks good, but we're not playing. And like I say, he could. Everybody always worries about getting hurt. If you're worried about getting hurt, don't get in the car. You guys don't drive home, just stay here all day. And so, a lot of things can happen between now and next week, but he's physically progressing, and I think he'll be, we'll see. But things can happen. So, to me, there's not a lot of guarantees. We're just trying to guarantee and getting better. He's working. I know he wants to play. I know he's pushing as hard as he can to get back to play. I know that's his thought process. I had Adrian Peterson broke a collarbone, came back to play, and everybody said, why? And he goes, I just want to play with my teammates. I think Jordan's like that. I think he wants to play with his teammates. But I think we've shown we're going to take care of him. I think our medical people will. And he didn't have to prove anything. I just think, if he can play, he wants to play because he loves playing. And I think he's working to get to that point. We'll see. For the game coming up, is 2 different ways in my thing because of the traffic, travel, and there's just a lot of wear and tear up there that I don't think we can practice up there truly like a game week and be as productive. So we're getting some things earlier out of the way, not to overcoach, over-prepare, but just I think there'll be some stress with the city environment, the hotel, the transitioning, the flight. We're going to have some inclement weather. And so we've tried to target, and we've been looking at the beauty of those 15-day reports. You can guess. Of course, it changes a little bit, but you can guess. And so we've tried to do, like I say, a little bit these couple days. We'll do a little bit over the weekend. So when we get up there, it'll be close to normal, but not a true normal, because I think with the traffic and other bowl activities, we could wear ourselves out. And so we're trying to be pretty smart with that. And we'll see. Of course, if you play well and win, you did it good. And if you play well and lose, or don't play well and lose, you can say your schedule's bad. But, we're going to go, I think, 7 miles to Fordham, and we're allotting between 45 minutes to an hour. And that's going in. So that's 2 hours of stress on your day. And so you just got to gauge that into all the things, and don't go to sleep now.
You mentioned that, guys like Richard Lego and Jamie Thompson might be able to join you a little early before the game, and can you clarify that a little bit?
Yeah, the rule for those guys, they can be here after class ends, which is tomorrow. So they'll transition in tomorrow and can't do anything, but then they can be with us until we go to the bowl. So that being said, they'll be here Saturday, Sunday, and Monday morning. And then what we're actually going to do is have a practice for the team, and then we'll have a second practice for some young guy work. And really, we can work with those guys in January, but you can't have a football until spring ball. Well, because it's bowl practice, you have a football. So Richard can throw, JB can do some things, and I think as much as anything, it'll help us help them in January. Because now, I saw your tape, and now I got you one-on-one. Coach Hill can get them in the weight room and say, I really like to see you work on some flexibility or some conditioning level these 2 or 3 weeks while we're gone, because we'll come back, January 10th, 11th, and get started up with our workouts right after that for the winter and the 16 season. So they had the resources to be here. We couldn't pay for it. They had to get here. But we encourage that, and I think it has a chance to be very beneficial. We'll see how it goes. We're not going to overdo it, but I think it'll really help jumpstart. Because, when you're a junior college player, I always tell a junior college kid, you're coming in at halftime because you've missed the first quarter and the second quarter. And now, 50%, you've had it in junior college, but you've missed our development. So, it's basically like you had a half-game suspension. And now you get the second half of your career to play with us, and you want to max that out. So I think those 2 men being here and getting a couple of days will help. I think it'll help them, but I think it'll help our coaches be able to help them and have a very productive January, February.
How's the green been kind of acclimating to things this year? We're talking about
Pretty good. We got Jameer's bowling. Those couple sitting out, and they're doing well. He looks like he's got a skill set, and we got a lot of guys now. And we don't have a senior corner. It's been an Achilles heel, so many of those guys have gotten hurt with Andre and Devontae Williams. They were in the mix, and now you got Thornton over there. Of course, Fant next year would just be a junior. Padmore's back there in the mix. Ben Bach has done well. You throw Wesley Green in the mix. I think we've got another. We were getting a little bit better depth, but that position's got to get better. And he's got a skill set where he'll be competitive. He should do well. He should do well. We'll see. But he's learning how to practice maybe our style, and all that. But same with Jameers. In fact, in spring, and we've done a few things. We actually looked at Jameers, who was a defensive lineman, some at defensive line, over the holiday break here, over the bowl practice. And not that he'll go there, but we've just looked to see a couple positions. We're trying to find Marquis Hawkins a position. We tried him a little bit at Sam, nickel safety guy. Not that those are position moves, but that's one of the beauty of bowl games is you can rep some guys, but you can start to move. Devontae Williams was an offensive guy, went to DB. Maybe if Thornton stays over, maybe he comes back to offense. There's spring ball to figure that out, but this bowl gives us a chance just to look at it a little bit. Not that there's any moves or anything, so don't read anything to that. We're going to keep working. Brandon Knight going to tight end helped us. Thornton going to corner helped us. And I think that's a part of your job as coaches. You got to get guys in right spots. And it's like I said, we're not earth-shattering, changing things with earth-shattering movement, but we're looking at those guys. Wesley's done well, and Jameers Bowen's done well.
You said Andre Brown is back to practice. How's he looking? Secondary's been banged up. How big is the rest time been a little bit for the freshman?
Very much. I know Crawford, who played a bunch, and again, you don't mean to, but you overplay them, you overpractice them. There's an article, I don't know if you guys saw it, from USA Today, not to talk about your competitors in the print world, but Pete Carroll had an article about playing young guys. And you got to have the courage to play young guys. And I'm always hard on our coach. Like, you need to put, matter of fact, there's a couple freshmen I thought should have played last year and this year that we didn't get worked up. Now, if you're going to play them, you got to play them. But sometimes it takes courage to play that guy that's going to fall on his face and just bust a little bit. And so those guys, John Crawford played too much early and really wore out as the year went along. Coming off, he was a guy, it wasn't like Spriggs that got time off. It was like Crawford played more plays than a lot of guys. And as a freshman, and he's not strong enough. So he's felt better. Marcus Oliver says best he's felt since preseason. Is that physical? Is it psychological, mental? I don't know. But those young guys are back. We'll be smart again. Andre Brown had a shoulder, so he's practicing but not doing a lot of hitting yet. This weekend we'll test it out and see if he's going to be game ready. Keontae Walton, some of those guys that hadn't played can get redshirted. Because Keontae got hurt game 3. Devontae Williams got hurt game 3. So we'll apply for a medical red shirt. They've not played, and they've had valid injuries. Danny Friend got hurt. He's back practicing. He's actually good to go if we need him. Danny could apply for a 6-year medical, but in talking to him, I don't know if anybody wants to play college ball 6 years. I mean, 5 winter workout sessions in 5 years, that'd be like going back to boot camp if you're a Marine 3 times or something. That's not fun, So Danny's back available. But the other guys that were hurt earlier in the year, we're going to try to redshirt those guys. And that happened a year ago with Marcus Oliver, got the year back. So we'll see how that goes.
Were you surprised at all? Surprised is a good word, but just how quickly Brandon Knight kind of took to moving tight end?
Pretty athletic, so I didn't realize he could catch it. He actually can catch. We didn't target a lot of throws to him. He's got soft hands. But we do so much where that tight end, I used to kid Coach Patton when he played, I called it tight tackle. I said, tell your mom that if she wants to see you catch the ball, we're warming up at 1 o'clock, and at 2 o'clock we're going to play ball, and she can watch you block. And that's, Brandon's a little bit like that. So our time, like Michael Cooper, I read somebody's article that someone had said where Kevin John said he was like our team MVP because the line gets a lot of credit. But those tight end guys, the best I ever had at Oklahoma team was when Eldridge and Gresham and Matt Clapp, matter of fact, 2 of them are working here, but when those guys were playing tight end fullback, we could capture edges and we could reach block and down block. And Michael Cooper and Brandon Knight, and like I say, the injury of Danny Friend put us in a lull for a couple weeks because we lost one of our bigger bodies. And, of course, Fuchs has been out and Jordan's not back yet.
Kevin, how about and you can address this a little bit, be ready at game speed for bowl? How do you just practice? You practice fast anyway, but do you really emphasize game speed in practice so that you're ready for the bowl?
Yeah, I think we've got a lot of guys that played. It's not that big of a layoff. You know what I'm saying? You have an open day, play a week later, so we had 3 weeks. So I don't think you totally forgot. We look pretty fast in practice. I think you just do the thing about game simulations that scare me if you're going good on good, you just worry about friendly fire. And we got a pretty healthy team right now, more healthy, and you just don't want to get a cheap roll-up injury. And so we just got to be calculated smart. So I think the coaches got to do the tackling they need to, whether it's individually or in some scout team work. Offensively, got to do some cut blocking. And, we do our ball security stuff every day where you're running through things and taking care of the ball. So there's some drill work that does it. And we just got to be smart. We'll do a little bit of mini scrimmaging, but it'll be short and sweet and quick whistles. Well, again, it'd be interesting. Richard's got a good skill set, but again, we don't anoint any. We didn't, Jordan Howard, we didn't, he got hurt in spring and only had 5 practices. And he's only played in 8 games. He's missed, 4 Big Ten games, basically. And if we had games after last week, he'd have missed more than 4. The reason he didn't miss more is the season ended. So, but we didn't know what we had until you get going. So some guys can look good on air and drills. So we're not going to anoint anyone. Richard comes in, though, as an older guy and a big arm and big size that has a chance to be very competitive. With Xander having been here, Danny having been here, Austin King in the mix. I don't know what we do if Donovan Hill. He could come back and be one of those guys. I still think Chris Covington should have stayed at quarterback. He wanted to go to linebacker, and he's sitting over at third-team Sam. But that's where he wanted to go, and if that's where you want to play, we're not going to, if the kid's happy, the team's going to be happy. So that's where he wants to be a defensive player. So we'll figure out. Do we look at anyone else? I don't know. We're trying. We can't. You don't need to take a clipboard holder. So, but at the same time, that position's got to play better as it goes forward. Nate, I tell you, when you talk about guys that have played, there's a lot of guys played well. We really pushed and challenged Nate about a month ago to come on. You've been good, but you need to take the next step, big jump. And we tried to even push him, coach him harder, and he really embraced it. And, truly embraced it. Instead of pushing back, he embraced it. And he's played the best he's played. And I think he's starting to like, wow, look how good, and I want more. And because he's going to need it as he wants to keep moving with his career through this week and into the weeks to come, months and years to come, hopefully. So, Richard will start with a good skill set, but is he coachable and how smart? And that'll be some of the things we'll find out this week. And then do we need another one? Maybe, maybe not. We got to be smart about what we're doing. Jamie. Again, we don't have a lot of seniors on the back end. There's really none, but we just thought with his size, he was an Ohio State signee coming out. He was physical, give us a better tackling presence. I think he was a high school quarterback. He's got good savvy feel. So they were both rated high, but they both fit positions that we thought we could get better at. And like I say, we're young in the secondary, but our pass D's got to pick up. And with Nate leaving, we just got to make sure we have enough competition that the quarterback play continues to go.
And you said there's a point where you said you wanted a little bit more out of Nate. Is there something that kind of inspired that?
What's that now?
You said that there was a point where you guys, where the coach came and said to Nate, give us a little bit more.
I thought, for what it's worth, the main difference in our Iowa game was the spirit of CJ Beathard versus the play of our guy played well, but one guy had that will that we're going to win. And I said, I'm not criticizing, but you need to be our guy to take us over the top. And let's push like we've never pushed, and let's prep like we've never prepped, and let's get in here and let's take a step. And he did. And I don't mean that sliding our guy and not overpraising another player by any means. They're both great players. They're both going to be on Sunday rosters, But that just, after I was like, hey, man, not saying he won the game for them. I just thought if there was a slight edge, there was maybe like I'm not going to be denied, and I played well, but – and so I don't know. That's just a sense. It's not a personal critique. Nate's been awesome. He's all-time career and everything. But bottom line, at the end, you as quarterbacks, you're known by victories, and he needed some. It was good to get him down the stretch, and I know he'd like to go out as a bowl champion. That'd be one more niche for him. The other thing I'll share with you too that I don't think is mentioned enough, that our better players that we've had for the last couple of years have been by far the best workers, best practice players we've had. Tevin Coleman was off the chart, and look at what he accomplished. Look at what Feeney and Spriggs are accomplishing. And you need to talk to their coaches and strength coaches about the way they practice, the way they prep. It's not a joke. They're legit. Look at Nate, the way he's practicing. They're legit. And the thing is, we're starting to get some great visuals for our football players of what it looks like. The way a guy practices, the way he preps, the way he leads his life, the way he lives, the way he comes in the building, the way he studies, the way he sleeps, and then they're playing at high level. because we got some kids that are playing football at a decent level, and we got some other areas that we just want to keep tightening up because there's some young talent at a lot of places that could be so much better, and we just want to keep growing and tightening it up. So again, I'd like to congratulate a couple of those guys, not for the honors they're receiving, but just valuing them for I keep saying all the time, all the energy some of these guys bring to the building. And a couple of those guys have gotten some awards. They're not deserving from performance. They're deserving for they didn't deserve. They earned it through a phenomenal commitment, a great deal of work, and Greg Fry and Mark Hill and those guys. So I just want to congratulate those guys. Those are big time honors. Same with Kevin Johns and Nate. I mean, that's a big time player, and I appreciate him and love him a lot.